Okay, so I've had this crazy idea for a concept I'm going to add to Mayhem 3. So what you see here is a station, right? This is a regular old station. It's a trade station. It's got those little docking arms on the bottom, and I've got a bunch of ships docking up with it. Pretty standard X3 stuff. But you can see once I turn on the HUD, this is actually a ship, and I've just beamed into it right now. So I am flying the station. So even though this looks like a station, it's technically an orbital weapons platform. And the way orbital weapons platforms in X3 work is that they're technically ships, but they don't have any engines, they can't move, right? No speed, no acceleration. They're stationary ships. And they're not actually implemented in Mayhem 3. They were in Mayhem 2, but they've been removed from Mayhem 3, quite because they're honestly pretty cheesy and pretty lame. But I've gone ahead and I think I found a way to make them viable for Mayhem 3, and we can have a lot more in the game than just the small, medium, and normal ones. So you can see this station has turrets. That's because it's technically a ship. So I'm firing all the guns on the station right now, but the way I'm going to implement them is I'm going to make it so that they can move. So you can see I'm flying the station right now. As ridiculous as this seems, I am flying a station, and it's quite hilarious to watch. But this is not going to be how I finally implement them. They're going to... This is just ridiculous. But you can see the ships on the docking arms actually stay attached, and those docking arms are fully functional on ships. So this is a ridiculous looking ship, but I'm just proving that this works. So while I'm flying around like an idiot in this station, the way I'm actually going to implement them in the final Mayhem 3 version is they're going to have the lowest possible speed I can give them. So when they're under attack in a battle, they're not really going to be able to move at all. And the lowest possible rotation. You're not going to be doing, loops and stuff like this ridiculous flying I'm doing here. But they will be able to move, albeit extremely slowly. So they're not going to be able to do any kind of maneuvers in a battle. But what you do is you build them at your Mayhem outpost as a ship. And then what you do is they will be docked to your outpost. Now this is going to cause collision issues because a station docked to a station is not going to fit into the area meant for a ship. And oh gosh, I just batted a cruiser right there and blew up. But let me continue to explain the concept. So what's going to happen is you're going to go ahead and spawn in your station by building it at your Mayhem outpost. Now I highly recommend being out of sector for this, because again, the collision issues with the station, it's going to be clipping inside your outpost. But you're going to be out of sector, undock it, and just give it a move order. Tell it to go somewhere, and over a very slow period of time, the station will slowly creep its way to the defensive position you specified, and you'll have an orbital weapons platform. And if you have Mayhem's jump drive prototype, you might be able to do some cheeky things with jumping the station to a section of space and undocking capital ships from it and having a pretty cool ambush strategy. Or you can just have them, sit around your territory and defend points of interest, and they won't really be able to move. I'll have to test this in practice, but that's the idea. Now, I've just got some footage of me flying these stations in a battle with the OCV, but you can see here, this is how they're going to be in the final game. Well, when I finally release this mod for Mayhem. They are going to be extremely slow, and you can see I'm trying to rotate it. You see I'm flying the station and I'm dragging the mouse to the bottom left. So the station is rotating, but this is how fast it's going to actually be able to move. So they're basically just going to be stationary. So you can see the rest of the fleet around me is moving, but the stations, I've got 5 of them in this arrangement. They're all just sitting there as just, bastions to hold the line. And again, they have the fully functional docking arms. They can just be used as orbital weapons platforms. And I'm eventually going to add even bigger ones, like giant citadels that are way bigger than the Mayhem outpost. And of course, the way Mayhem ships are balanced, size is deterministic of cost, hull strength, and everything. So these are going to be really expensive. Although, because of their limited utility, right, they can't fly around in a fleet, I might make them cheaper than the Mayhem auto balance would normally make them, because, again, they're completely stationary. So, again, this is all a work in progress. The balance still needs to be determined, and I still need to actually move on to the Mayhem mod from this LitCube environment I'm using for testing. But I think this is going to work. There's going to be 4 or 5 different stations that you can craft as ships, slowly fly them out to where they're going to defend, and you'll have some pretty cool looking orbital weapons platforms. So that's something that's coming, and I'll have a bigger announcement when I release this full ship pack. And I guess I'll just let the rest of this footage play out because this fighter's awesome.